everyone. Welcome back to the Ask Rebecca radio show. I'm so sorry we were having some technical difficulties this evening with Skype and trying to get my guest onto the show. So I apologize for the delay. But anyway, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. As you know, February's theme is all about relationships, and today is about the relationship you have with your children. Like everyone else in your life, your children are mirrors. Your children reflect back to you your own positive and negative behaviors because children learn what they live. So it takes emotional courage to use your child's less than perfect behavior, and some of them can be pretty less than perfect. But either way, it takes emotional courage to use your child's less than perfect behavior as a way of seeing your own unconscious negative beliefs. So again, what we believe is what is reflected back to us in everyday life through the people that we love and care about, through the people that we don't care about and don't like so much. Everything is a reflection, and you can learn so much from it. And when it comes to our children, we want to create a safe emotional space for your children so they will be able to communicate with you openly and honestly about the things going on in their lives. Today, my guest is prevention educator Marcella Maggio. She will be helping us shed some light into creating an open dialogue with your children about the more difficult subjects. Now, February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and Marcella is especially passionate in educating teens how to have healthy relationships. Welcome, Marcella. Thank you for joining me tonight. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but I think we've got it all worked out. We basically rigged the system somehow, but we're here. And just so everybody knows that is actually watching live through the Facebook stream, we will be taking questions, so something that may be going on with your children, any ages, it doesn't matter. If you're struggling with any kind of situation at home with your children, please don't hesitate to write your questions in the comments section, and we'll be sure to address them and help you out the best that we can. So again, Marcella, welcome to the show, and thank you again for joining me.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm excited to finally be connected with you and share the wealth.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, what a nightmare. I was like panicking at the end there. I'm like, oh my God, this is not going to happen. And then I have like nothing prepared to talk about. I totally would have had to wing it. And I kind of suck at winging it. So anyway, so I do have a couple of questions for you. So I think most people will want to know what exactly, as a prevention educator, what does your work entail, and what does that really mean?
Well, I have a wonderful opportunity to go throughout communities and really talk about healthy relationships in order to prevent domestic violence, sexual assault, any type of abuse. And it really starts with bullying. So even though this is about Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, it could happen at any age. Again, like you said, it really is what we learn.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think most people don't realize, children are very, very aware of what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're interacting in relationships, and they're like little sponges and they pick it up. So if you're in a loveless marriage, guess what? You're teaching your kid how to be in a loveless marriage. If you're in a relationship where you're not communicating openly and honestly with each other, your children will learn that as well. And if we're not allowing children to come to us and actually, talk about what's going on, and most of the time children are afraid. They don't want to tell us what's happening because, they're going to get in trouble. So I think it's a delicate balance. So since it is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, what is that about? What is?
Well, it runs. Originally started as a week-long, just to bring awareness as far as what's going on. What are these teens doing in relationships? Is jealousy a healthy thing? Is it healthy to be sharing passwords to different apps and social media sites? it really was about looking at their behaviors and trying to have them look at it as well. So this is a way to connect with the youth in order for, like you said, that conversation to start. It's not just teens or young adults who are afraid to talk about this stuff to their parents and caretakers. It's the parents and caretakers that are horrified, terrified to talk about it, right? It's
Right.
weird. Maybe our parents didn't talk about it. So again, it's that learned behavior, those cycles going on and on.
Right. And, I would suspect, with the whole awareness thing, it's a new day and age, and social media, and, you have Snapchat, and I know you see, I've seen a lot of stories in the news where teens are sending photos of themselves, they're videoing sexual encounters. There's a lot of miseducation out there, I feel, for children. And it seems like they really are dating a lot younger and becoming sexually active. And maybe,
Absolutely.
I know as a parent myself, we tend to be in denial about what exactly our kids are doing. There's times where,
Right.
oh no, that's not happening, or, not my kid. And you'd be surprised. They probably know a heck of a lot more when it comes to the whole dating thing than us adults. So
Absolutely.
why is it important? Obviously, my perspective is we want to break bad relationship cycles. We want to break unhealthy relationships, and communication is the key with that. But, how do we get it across to teenagers or children that it is important, that they do need to value themselves and respect themselves and speak up if they encounter unhealthy relationship?
Absolutely. No, you're 100% on point, and I would say that it really starts at any age. It starts in conversation about what are they watching, what are they listening to, do they have a favorite show where maybe the characters don't have the best relationship. You're finding it a little unhealthy. But we laugh it off as an audience, right? Oh, that's so funny. She slapped him, and, this is acceptable behavior. Even the princesses, starting very young, right? Why do we want to be a princess? Why do we want to be saved and taken care of? We can do that on our own. It's starting the conversation young about how ownership starts first and foremost with ourselves, the value, like you said, that worth. And the only way we can instill that is if we do it young, really having these conversations and letting our children know that it is important to, get together and share our days, share our dreams, even share our frustrations in a respectful manner.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that is definitely one of the situations where, as adults, we have everyday life going on, things are happening. Sometimes we really don't have the energy to listen to our kids, or we emotionally react in our day-to-day lives, where there's just an explosion of emotions, and they pick up on that and learn from that. So
Yes.
what do you suggest? Okay, because bringing up, how do you, some teenagers are so reclusive, and, they don't want to hang out with their parents. They don't want to have these difficult conversations. It's awkward. It's weird. How do you grab your kid and say, hey, let's talk about sex. Let's talk, who are you dating? Have you encountered, is so-and-so trying to manipulate you? How do you actually, without cornering them and forcing them to talk about it, what suggestions do you have in order to open up the dialogue with our children and try to have a decent conversation, find out what's happening? Because you don't want them getting advice from their friends, and you don't want them getting advice from other unhealthy people, which is the case, and then all of a sudden you get the end stick of it when something tragic happens, and you're like, what the heck just happened here? So what suggestions do you have?
Well, You really brought up a great point as far as why don't we have these conversations with our children. Again, it's that lesson learned. Maybe our parents were talking to us, so we don't even know how to have that conversation. We don't know how that looks like. But I would say, first and foremost, things are weird when you make them weird. Right? If we just make it, this is natural. I love you. I want to know what's going on in your life, right? You can connect in small ways. You can take a trip to get something to eat, which, hey, teenagers and children really of all ages love food. It's a great connector. So it's a good way to kind of start that conversation, noticing people around. Maybe you see a couple and then that kind of prompts it. Again, it doesn't have to be weird. It could be over a TV show that you're watching together. It could be a band that you know that your child wants to attend, and just asking questions about, why do you like this band? Why do you like their music? And hey, well, let me listen to a song. It's not weird if we don't make it weird.
Right. Very true. Yeah. I mean, it takes us being adults and just talking it out and not being judgmental when our kids actually open up and share, try to hold the emotional reaction within and not just automatically judge and condemn. So I know that definitely works in my own situation. Also, again, if anybody has any questions for anything going on in your life with your children, feel free to write it in the comments section of the live stream, and we'll be happy to answer them. In the meantime, Marcella, I think I know yourself, you have a real passion for this, and this work is really important to you, and it's something that you go and you teach police officers, and you train all different types. You go to, from what I understand, what is it, with the boys?
Juvenile hall?
Yes, you do juvenile hall sessions, and you do all these amazing things. So, why is this so important to you, briefly?
I look at it as I'm just speaking to myself. I'm having the opportunity to have a trusted adult in that person's life, no matter how short, just to remind them that there is somebody there that cares, that wants the best for them. And my hope is that they are going to have someone continue through their life, and they become that for someone else. If we can't have it for ourselves, we can allow ourselves to be that. So I would really tell, as far as parents and caretakers as well, just really reflect back on what it was like for you to be a teen, and how awkward, and maybe you had these questions, but you didn't know how to approach your parents, and just lay that foundation with your child as far as saying, you know what, I know things get awkward. You might have questions. I am a source. And if I'm not, so-and-so is. And make sure you have a follow-up, because nobody wants to be left out in the dark. And when they feel that they don't have that trusted adult, that's when they're starting to act out.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's a difficult subject. I mean, I know it's definitely challenging, and, you can't go wrong with trying and figuring it out. I also know that you've created your own campaign, and you're really, again, this huge proponent for healthy relationships when it comes to teenagers. And I was actually having a conversation today with someone, and we were talking about the importance of getting them between a certain age and, before they turn 15. So I know you have a campaign that you're launching called Dear 14. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and maybe share some information with everyone for anybody that may want to reach out to you for any guidance?
Absolutely, yes. The wonderful thing about my experience as a prevention educator is I've had an opportunity to interact with children of all ages. And what I started to notice is that the 14th year is almost this rite of passage. You're going into this new phase of your life, and it's almost, veering on adulthood. At least that's what it feels like because of the pressure from other people. I'll give you an example. When you're in 8th grade, typically 13 years old, you are the king and queens of the school, right? Next thing you know, you go to be a freshman around 14 years old, and you're right back down at the end of the totem pole. And about 85 to 90% of the population on campus, including the administration, has already engaged in some form of intimacy, relationship, and now it's that pressure. I have to catch up. Otherwise, I'm a loser. What does that say about me? So Dear 14 is really about allowing people of all ages to talk about their 14 experience, to give advice, to give warnings, to just let people know that they're not alone and that it's not as hard as we think it is. If it is, we have resources. And that's another thing that Dear 14 is about, is linking people up to the resources within their community.
Awesome.
So I can be found on Facebook as well as Instagram and Twitter. It's Dear14, all spelled out. And like I said, it's open to teens of all ages. Please share your wealth, your anonymous confession, in order for teens to be able to relate and know that it's all okay and it's going to get better with each other.
That's wonderful. Yeah, 14 is definitely that in-between age. 13, you become a teenager. 14, you're a year in. And like you said, you transition to high school. All of a sudden, you're confronted with a group of older teenagers that have probably done the whole partying thing. They're drinking alcohol, they're trying drugs, they're having sex. You're dealing with a lot more bullying if you are, I remember school people name calling, you've got the sluts, you've got all these things. And meanwhile, people are really just trying to get through life and fit in and be accepted. And I think Dear 14 is a great idea. I like that you're also going to create it into like a book or of some sort as well, where you're taking teenage confessions and people are able to tell their story of what they dealt with. I know that you have a lot of experience in this field. You've done so much for volunteering, even as, is it a rape counselor or?
It was a sexual assault response advocate. So basically, whenever there was a sexual assault reported in San Diego County, a SART is what it's short for, would go to the forensics clinic and assist the patient, make sure that they're okay.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got a lot of experience in this field, and I really appreciate you. It looks like nobody's asked us any questions in the Facebook live stream on A1R radio network, so I'm assuming everybody is doing really well out there when it comes to parenting, or it's stuff that people don't want to talk about. But I really appreciate you coming onto the show, and again, we'll post some information and links to Dear 14. And
for some reason, I can't hear you. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. And, I just want to let everybody know that I will be back live on the show next week. And we'll be talking about, I'll be closing out the month of February with relationships, and I'll kind of do a little recap and go over everything that we've discussed and go into a little bit more of a detail with relationships, which is the relationship with self, relationships, with your partner, spouse, relationship with children. And, I plan on doing a webinar for relationships because there's so much to talk about and so much information to share with everyone. So I definitely want to get more detailed in that. And next week I will be doing this show solo. So I will be taking callers to do psychic readings because I know that's what everybody likes to hear and experience. And I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'll actually also answer some questions in the comments section of the live Facebook feed and answer any kind of psychic questions. I see people always posting and wanting to know about things, so I plan on tackling questions in the comments, and we'll take a live caller to do a reading. If you would like to book a session with me in the future, you can reach out to me at AskRebeccaToday@gmail.com. You can call or text me at 407-374-3133. If you'd like more information about the intuitive life coaching and psychic readings, you can check out my website, and there's a frequently asked questions page. So you can see if your question is there, and my website address is www.askrebecca.guru, Guru. So please check it out. I hope that everybody has a great week, and I look forward to joining you all next week. And I hope you have a fabulous night. And if anything comes up or you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And one last thing before I jump off here, I really just want to thank you all for tuning in every week. I really appreciate your love and support. And if you have any suggestions of shows that you want to see or things that you want to happen, feel free to let me know. This is just as much about you guys as it is about me, and I just want to be there for everybody in the best way that I can. So have a fabulous week, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.